Hey there, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also, the channel that was created by a retail investor for retail investors and home to the best MJ community. It's Thursday, September 12th. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be discussing the stock Tilray and how about 80% own the stock, and that's retail. So we're a retail-centric channel, and he said right from the horse's mouth from Irwin Simon, CEO of Tilray, he said about 80% of our shareholders are retail shareholders. And he says we love our retail stockholders, but at the end of the day, they would love to see the institutions come back into the stock. So we're going to talk about that and more in this video. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As always, this is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor, and you should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray. It's my largest holding in my MJ portfolio. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And fun fact, they're going to be launching a competitor. It's in beta right now, XTV, to compete with the likes of YouTube and Netflix. Hopefully my daughter in the background isn't too distracting. Kind of keeping an eye on her while I make this video as well. So Tilray Brands, there was also some news today. They completed the acquisition of Atwater Brewing from Molson Coors Beverage Company. That was one of the four. There was still no deal price in there, so really not a whole lot of new information in that communication. But I wanted to reference back to this video here, and it's a video I posted about a week ago. It had to do, it was the interview with Schwab. So he talks about to launch hemp drinks. That's going to be another major catalyst, I think, for Tilray. They're going to be launching their hemp formulation and drinks into Texas and New Jersey to start, and then very similar to like a Cure Leaf and their new brands hemp lineup, I think they're going to be into all 25 of those same states. So that was an interview with Irwin Simon. And if you go here and you click this summarize video option now, it's super sweet. You get Chat GPT. There's transcript as well, but I find this one much better. And you can just go and you can search things. So I just brought up to the part where he said the 80%. So he said the other big thing out there, Nicole, is that there is a lot of hedge funds and institutions that will not invest in our company because they're just not able to because of MJ, because of legal and safe banking. So that has to change dramatically. If you come back and look at Tilray today, and I love our retail shareholders, and they're great shareholders to have probably about 80% of our shareholders today are retail shareholders. Okay, so that is, I think it's almost like it's low. I would think it would be more than that. If we just go over here and take a quick peek at Tilray, if you go to summary and then more, we should be able to expand that company profile. There we go. And this is the Moo platform, but you should be able to just go here to institutions, and you can see here 84 million shares. So 392 companies, total institutional holders. So if there's 84 million shares, and then if we get a quote here, they've got 837, about 837 million on the float. So, if we just do rough math, 837 million, and then we'll times that by 837 divided by, or we'll times that by 20%. That's about 167 million. So by that logic, I'm just kind of doing some quick math here on the fly. That's like 10%. Yeah, divide that. So that's about 167. Divide that by 2 is about 83 million shares. So yeah, I times it by 20%, and then that gave me 167 million shares, and then I divided that by 2 and gave me 83 million. It's sitting at 84. So it's almost like it's like 10, 11% are institutional ownership. But he claims to say it's 20, but either way, it's still a very, very small number. And where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is the fact that, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, all these, big Wall Street banks and institutions were able to front run them this time around, right? It's not that they don't own the stock, because we just clearly saw that there's somewhere between that, 11, we'll say 11 to 20%, but that's still majority, a very large majority that are retail investors, right? So why am I bringing this up? Is because we have the opportunity to front run them again in the next bull cycle. So this is what happens. It's just boom and bust cycles, and that's why the bear markets last so long, is because they try to weed, no pun intended, they try to weed everybody out, and then it's basically just retail left holding the bag, and then they they drop it another leg down after another leg down, just black dirt breakdown. And then people capitulate, and then the institutions come back in, usually off of the back of a brutal bear market, 80 to 90+% corrections. And if you haven't seen the video from yesterday, I made a video called "Will There Be More 80% plus corrections in the sector?" So if you haven't seen that, you can check it out. Short answer is yes, but if you want my full explanation there, I encourage you to check out that video. But, not a whole lot of institutions are here. So we get the chance to front run them, not just in Tilray, but, even the US MJ stocks, right? They're not listed on US major exchanges where all the floodgates are and where the big money plays around, right? So we can even front run them there. But just like Tilray has the most volume out of any MJ stock, really, right? Because it's listed on the NASDAQ. And just in one day, it had about $2.2 billion traded just on the NASDAQ alone, not even factoring in all the other exchanges. So my point with this is, this move here, when we were at $2.43 on Tilray back in March of 2020, and then in a very short period of time, in about, it was 11 months, we went up 27x, right? And all the way up in the high of February 2021 was $67. So we went from $2, even if you just factor this in here at the low of September 2020, in about 6 months, we went up 14x. So we went from about $4 there at the low all the way up to $67. So my point is during that mania, that was not retail investors, right? That might have retail may have accounted for 10 to 20% of the volume, maybe not even. And most people get FOMO'd in. They start to buy it when price is going up, right? I know a ton of people that bought it when it was at, $40 and $30, right? And then it dropped all the way down to $1.50. So my point is when we have these big moves like that, and like when it IPO'd and hit that crazy $300 mark, that's big money in institutional market makers that are putting their money behind this, right? Same thing here, and same thing on the next big move. What it's going to take is massive volume, and we're going to see the institutions come back in. So like I said, we have the chance now to front run these institutions before they start to get back in. Pretty soon, MJ is going to be another play right after big tech, AI, crypto, EVs. Once those take a back seat, MJ is going to really start to outperform the broader market and could be the best performing sector over the next few years. And we were talking about this in the Pow Group private community that, just like alcohol prohibition, it ended when the economy was very, very bleak, right? It was in a recession. And something similar could be happening where we could be entering most people think we're already in a recession, including myself, but I think we could be heading to a really bad recession, if not a depression. And it could be a similar playbook where they use MJ as a way to generate tax revenue and create jobs in a pretty dire, straight economy. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But hopefully this video was helpful. Like I said, I would say it's probably closer to that. We'll just say 15% that are institutions, and the rest are retail investors. So we're early. The great thing is we're early. The bad thing is we're early, right? Everybody wants instant gratification, but our time will come. We just have to be a little bit more patient and, be diversified as well. I think there's some great opportunities out there and other MJ names in Canada, and then also the US and, the private sector as well, and then also internationally. So going in it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.